Let's talk about analog to digital conversion in the sense of capturing your audio and having the sound now in your machine. There's a conversation that I've seen many times from many different people talking about when you record audio, you want the highest quality converters to record the content into your machines. And then when we start discussing going from one thing to another, people make the argument that, oh, well, you got the converters, why aren't you using them to track it back out? I have an issue with this part of the conversation. So when you are recording analog to digital, what you're doing is converting the wave files into a digital format that the computer understands, and it is capturing it with the highest possible resolution you can afford to capture it with, whether that's 48K, 88.2 Hertz, 96K, 192, whatever highest level of resolution, the better, because that means more snapshots, more pictures of the content that it's taking and compiling into your file. So once that's done the first time, it has all of that imprinted data there. When you are going to take it to the next side of the equation, does it make sense to send it back out of the digital domain back into analog? Because make no mistake, your MPC is digital. What you've done is you've taken the analog source, recorded it in, it has converted it into digital. You are now manipulating the digital data in the machine, and now you want to track it back out. And you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't see the point to it, personally, because my thinking is just walking you through the steps that I do. I've made the stuff on the One Plus. I'm completely done with it in there. The session is saved in the One Plus. And then I go to my PC laptop, I open up in the workstation here on the MPC software, and I start to work with it a little bit more in the digital domain. And I've created a sound that I really love the way it sounds. At this point, the easiest thing to do is to export it as stems, mainly because it's already digital, it's already been converted to the way I want it to sound, I've already made it sound the same, and it's not gonna be any different at this point. And I can now mix in MPC3 pretty comfortably, although I still prefer to mix in Logic, so taking it from there and putting it in my Logic session that I have a ton of templates for makes a lot of sense. Now, if I had a lot of extra gear, totally understand saying, hey, let me just run it through something else again. We used to do that in the studio all the time. Used to record it through the console, onto a tape machine, and then from the tape machine onto Pro Tools. That was analog to digital. And then from Pro Tools, we would run it back through the SSL. That's digital to analog. And then from there, back into another Pro Tools session. This sounds crazy when you think about it, but it did work because that was the only way we knew how to do it, to manipulate things. But now that we have these digital mixers, we don't necessarily need to take it back out once you've actually gotten what you're trying to get into the thing in the first place.